Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, our fresh, brand new podcast. This is Carmina
This is Denise.
and together we have some things in common, some things that we don't share with other friends or other colleagues, and that's that we like astrology, we like human design, and we like the cards. And most importantly, we're also, avid aficionados of pop culture. So we decided to do a project, a collaboration, podcast, whatever you want to call it, where we just let loose and just, look at our favorite pop celebrities, pop events, whatever is going on in the world through the lens of astrology, human design, cards. What do you think about it, Denise? Are we going to have some fun?
I think we're going to have fun. And I think that, we can even talk about anybody we want to talk about. And I think that that's the best part of it. There's no limitations to what we're going to do. And we can
Exactly.
see people, see their motivations and wonder who they are and see what the cards and all the other things show us.
Yes. Wonderful. Yay. So that's my 16 line of enthusiasm.
Exactly. I have one too.
So today we were thinking about looking at Britney Spears' chart, and we're going to be looking at her, astrology, human design cards, and we want to look at her birth chart and also what's happening with her transits, what's happening with her lately, because I'm following her on Instagram and I see that people are concerned about her mental health because she's been posting some, people say that these are random videos of her working out. I mean, first she posted a video some months ago saying that she's going to take some time off because she has like family problems, her father is ill or something like that. And then she keeps posting, she posted some pictures of her, being modeling, but she has a detergent stain on her dress. And then, her weave, her hair doesn't look exactly right. And her makeup, people say like, what's wrong, Britney? Are you okay? So yeah, we can look at that. I have to say I've always, kind of have a soft spot for Britney because she seems like such a sweetheart, like that, cherry pie, apple pie, all American girl that was like a child star. And she had the all American romance with the other child star, Justin Timberlake, since the, Mickey Mouse Club days. And then she got thrown into this, not really thrown, she worked hard for it, but she got into this world where people just wanted a lot of things from her. And then she kind of cracked at some point. So, yeah. Should we start with the human design, Denise?
You know what? I think yeah, that'd be great. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was looking at now, I don't know as much about her as you do. So basically I was just looking at her chart and I was thinking, what's going to pop out at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know a lot about what's going on, not as much as you, but certainly I did hear that there was concerns about her health as she went into a
Rehab.
facility or something. Yeah, exactly. And they were saying that maybe her boyfriend was kind of keeping her
Yeah,
trapped or
captive.
such.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now I looked up at his chart and I looked at her chart. Now I don't have a birth time for him, so I mean but it doesn't change a lot. And I also did a composite chart between the two of them. And basically what it says is that, really, there's an energetic between them and it's really a magnetic energy, but I really think that it's not a very good relationship. It feels like it's a very toxic
With
relationship.
her current model boyfriend?
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
And I was looking at her transits and everything, and I think that's kind of interesting because she actually she met him back in 2016, I think. I think that's what it
Mm-hmm.
said. And she met him right when she was having her Uranus opposition, which is a really tumultuous time in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was easy. Based on the astrology, I looked at a composite chart of them. You can do a certain amount without the birth time because thankfully we have her birth time. And
Mm-hmm.
just the whole thing was it's like this real magnetic energy, but it's also a lot of perfectionist energy. So if I did I look at Britney Spears chart, I mean, she's got the 4 gates of madness, right? And the problem with that is that she's got no outlet. Like if she had one of her gates from her head that we're actually getting some information
Yes.
down into her next part. It's like all that information is just driving her crazy, you know, like it's
So
just
those three gates that you're mentioning, Denise, the ones at the top, right?
the
If all of
top.
them, yeah, if all of them are activated, people can be, liable
There's
to,
a potential. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Because it's, you have all this downloads that are in the 61, 63, and the 64, well,
yeah.
64, 61, 63 in that order. But all these downloads are coming in, but you've got nowhere to go with them. And unless you have an electromagnetic where somebody is connecting with that gate and allowing it to drop down.
I can connect with her. I'm the 47.
Okay, well, you'll be her guide. You can take her where she needs to go. And you know what?
Contact me, Britney. Contact me. I'll advise you.
She's had success in her life. She's had success in her life.
She's
So
a five
obviously,
one. She's a 5,
yeah,
right?
she's a 5, and so is her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's a
Mhm.
5 too. And well, you can look at him and you can go, yeah, absolutely, he's a 5. And you can look at her. I mean, they're very striking. They're very noticeable. They're kind of people that you look at them and you go, oh my. But having said that, they're both 5 energies, and that means they're in a projection field. So people are seeing things different from who they really are. When
Mm.
that happens, they're in a projection field. So another thing that the human design lined up, plus the astrology lined up, was that what they're trying to do is manipulate this idea or this concept of what exactly is happening in the relationship. And so making it look better than what it is. And I have
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something about that. You know that Britney, since she had that psychotic episode or whatever they called it, she's
mm-hmm.
not allowed to have her own phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Which
she's
is,
not allowed to
yeah.
have a lot of things like her money that's being controlled by other people, everything. So it's a little bit spooky. She's there in Vegas only, like she had like a contract for 10 years or something to only perform in Las Vegas. So she's
Mm-hmm.
like in her golden cage a little bit there.
Yeah, she is. And the question that I would have is, if she's not allowed to have a phone, how are these photos getting posted to Instagram?
Well, I like people, because I also watch Wendy Williams sometimes, and they
Yeah.
say that, okay, she can post them from other people's phones or from her boyfriend's
Oh.
phone, or they can take the pictures, or she has like her manager posting the picture of her on her Instagram
Mm-hmm.
account. So not necessarily that she posts them personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like Britney's been known, like you were talking about her relationships, she didn't have like quite such happy relationships.
Yeah.
The one I think that was the least dramatic was though it ended dramatically, was the first one with Justin Timberlake, when
Yeah.
allegedly she cheated on him, so that's why they broke up. But after that she married one of her dancers and they had 2 kids, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you know
Federline. Yeah.
yeah, he had like kids from before, and then he had some kids after, so he was a bit of a player. And then she
Mm.
was with this guy who was her bodyguard or something, like something in her entourage, or her manager, who was a bit too protective, some people say abusive. So she's had like some difficulties in with her relationship life, and I'm curious if that also shows in the human design charts as
Oh, it
well.
absolutely does between her and him. I mean, if you look at their composite chart,
Mm-hmm.
you see that. I mean, I didn't do the charts of the other ones, so I can't really compare them. And every relationship comes with its own set of ingredients. So, I
Yeah.
mean, how she reacts to with somebody else. But the one thing she does have is an open identity. Open identity can be really taken over by other people's energy. It's very
Mm-hmm.
easy, especially when you have somebody with a defined identity. So you see that this Sam guy, he has a defined identity,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a very powerful player. I mean, if you look at his chart, there's a lot of power in his chart. This is a
Mm-hmm.
person who there's potential for bullying, and I'm not saying he is. I'm not, this is all hypothetical. There's
Yes.
potential for bullying. There's potential for my way or the highway. There's potential for ripping her apart or building her up. There's potential for a lot of critical energy. You're not getting it right. It's not perfect enough. You're not perfect enough. You need to be better.
Mm.
That's there. So, this is a person, she's a pretty sensitive person. I mean, that's in her chart too.
Yeah.
It's in the night, so you have somebody who's got this deep sensitivity. It's in her moon. It's in Cancer. You know, I don't know if her moon's in Cancer, but for some
Her
reason I
moon
think
is in Aquarius, and I'm gonna
oh, in
say she
Aquarius.
has the North Node in Cancer, so she
Okay.
can have these like super ups and downs with her emotions because
Yeah.
she's trying to work it out how to convey them. When you have the North Node in Cancer, you know, you fall back on Capricorn like super controlled, and then you burst out like she did, you know, when with the shaving of the head incident, she
Yeah.
just burst out. And it's really interesting how that connects, because right now she's having a nodal return, like the North Node is in Cancer, South Node in Capricorn. So I think that's one of the things that's triggering her, you know, her current, you know, issues, because she
Yeah, there is the nodal return, but you know what else I noticed?
Mhm.
Okay, so I went back to 2007,
Yep.
and what I noticed was Saturn was a big player there too.
Mm.
Saturn was okay, so I'm going to just pull this up just so you can see it, but basically in 2007, Saturn was doing some stuff to her chart, and also Neptune. So what that makes me feel like, she has Saturn in her first house, and you know, with Saturn
Mm-hmm.
in first house, I mean,
Okay,
not an easy
so
life.
is it does she have Saturn in the first, is
I'm
it
just gonna,
the 2nd of December 1981?
yep.
And that shows to me that she has a Virgo ascendant with Mars in the first house,
Okay, well, maybe
the
I'm
way
wrong.
I'm calculating it.
Let me see. I have her here, December 2nd,
Yeah,
1981, Macomb.
1:30 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I
And
have here is I have her with a Libra ascendant.
okay, well, I guess it's a different Ayanamsha that we're using, a
Yeah,
different
because it's so close,
calculation.
right? It's just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they probably line up the same, but ultimately, when I noticed in 2007, okay, so this is our chart from 2007. I just put it for June. So if you
Mm-hmm.
look at Neptune is, you know, Neptune, it seems like when it hits around the same degree, Neptune went from about 18 to about 20 degrees of Aquarius, and now it's about 18 to 20 degrees of
Pisces.
Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
So what was happening back then is you have her Neptune, it's playing on, it was working on her Saturn and her natal Saturn. Now her natal Saturn is in her first house. I mean, this is a person who, anybody with a natal Saturn is meant to grow up too fast. Never really had a childhood. Always having to do the thing, right?
Let's not forget she also has Saturn with Pluto there, like within like 6 degrees.
Exactly.
So it's
Not to
super
forget
intense.
that. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then so it seems like Neptune and Saturn are the two main players, because Saturn was up here too.
Mm-hmm.
Saturn is back in 2007. Of course, it was going back and forth. You see, it's 19 degrees. 19 degrees, which is connecting, you know, it's actually a sextile, which is a much more positive thing. But I think that if your Saturn is not, you know, Saturn's in Libra. I
It's
mean,
exalted. But
so it's exalted. So it doesn't make sense though, because if her Saturn is in Libra, it's exalted for her work, but is it exalted for her mental status? That's the question I'd like to know. You know what I mean?
yeah, and it's also with Pluto, like we can't ignore Pluto there.
Exactly.
And in
And
2007, where were the nodes? Let's see. Well, it's also Cancer, right?
nodes
Or
were in Virgo
oh,
and in Pisces.
Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
Virgo,
Yeah.
Pisces axis. So
Yeah.
water, earth again.
And they were in 11, and they would have been attacked. They would have been squaring her son, basically, is
Mm.
what's happening in that. So yeah, I think that you're right. I think we have the nodes, we got Neptune, and we also have Saturn all working at the same time. It seems a very similar alignment. So I'll bring it up to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And because anything that right now, Saturn is squaring her Saturn. Where are we at now? Whoops, did I get the
And
wrong?
I think Saturn is kind of over her south node and
Absolutely, it's conjunct,
over her
exactly.
Venus, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Venus is her soul planet, actually. It's the planet with the highest degrees from, you know, the
Uh-huh.
personal planet. So yeah, so that Venus is also relationships. So it's
Yeah.
interesting because she has Venus South Node conjunction like within 2 degrees natally. So like she was born with this grace and beauty and this like you know propensity for entertainment, but
Mm-hmm.
also a little bit of dissatisfaction in that area. So because I remember that in interviews when she was younger, she was saying, you know, that she wants to be a mom and just have, you know, that more quiet life.
Yeah.
But you know, her sister Jamie Lynn, who's 10 years younger, she actually had the child at 16, and she just, you know, she didn't have any career. She just just went to be a stay-at-home mom
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just lived the
exactly.
life that Britney kind of would like to have had. And if you look at her cards, like her birth card, Britney Spears is a 4 of diamonds, so like consistent value
Right.
worker, like she's shining, you see her. And in her Jupiter card, which is children, she has the Queen of Hearts, which is the mother card, and she has the sun there, she has Mercury. So she has this like very mothering aspect, of herself. She's very taking care of those around her, and she likes to be, in this mothering mode and nourishing. But also because she has a north node in Cancer, it's a bit difficult to tackle these feelings. Maybe she goes over the top being possessive or the other end. So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess this is one of the issues, that
But
she's going through.
yeah, and if you look at, I mean, you and I, we have like, it's great because we have different perspectives of the astrology charts because we're coming from like different systems, but usually it all sort of melds together and you kind of get
Yeah.
the same gist, which is great. But so if you look at also her 10th house, she's got her north node, her Rahu in there, and she's got in their south node is in her fourth house, and so
Mhm.
she's meant to be in her 10th house. She's meant to be in her career, but she wants that familiarity of the
Yeah, she
home.
wants to be hidden.
And exactly. So I mean, that's a lot of push pull for a career, isn't it?
It
And
is.
that's where you struggle the most in your south node, when you're always trying to go back there when you're not meant to go back there, because right, she
Hmm.
she wants to go back to having that nice family, having that husband, having the whole, you
Yeah,
know,
that's why she's kind of hiding in a way in Las Vegas. Like she lives
yeah.
there. She's been living there since 2007 or something like that. Like she
Hmm.
doesn't go anywhere. She's just there all the time. She has her space there. She's not going out, seeing the world, touring the world.
Yeah.
So that's her comfort zone for sure. And
Yeah.
it's
So
getting a bit, right now with this Saturn Pluto in Capricorn, it's getting a bit shaken up because
yeah.
the fourth house, let's not forget, it's also the peace of mind, and especially for a woman it's very important, like her peace of mind. She's like, she has to have some conclusions now with the south node there with Saturn. She has some letting go of old patterns. And
Yeah. And the fourth house is all about end of matters, right? End
mhm.
of matters. I
Yeah,
mean, this can
it's
sometimes be considered even a death house. Not saying that,
it's a hidden house for sure. Yeah, it's an
yeah.
occult house, a water
Yeah.
house.
So it seems like a lot of the same transits are coming up, and it's like, how much has she grown? I think that this relationship with this person, I don't know if it's the best thing for her. I don't think it's giving her what she really wants and what
Mm-hmm.
she needs. But it's like, I think there's a lot of a magnetic connection that just says, yeah, you're my
Mm-hmm.
thing. And I don't think anybody's inherently bad, but I just think that they're bad for each other. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, that's what I feel like. So yeah, I mean, and if her father is not well too, that's another thing. I mean, she's got this, like, even if we go back to her human design chart, it's like she's got this energy of the 50, which is all
Mm-hmm.
about that's all about, being responsible and taking care of people, and being responsible
Yeah.
for people who you don't need to be responsible for,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I think as a child, also with her Saturn, Pluto in Libra, she had to shoulder a lot of,
Yeah,
responsibilities. And also
yeah,
with the South Node in Capricorn, which is like an animal sign, so a quadruped. So, right, she had to be like a thick skin. That's
yeah,
what
but she's not
she,
a thick skin. I mean, that's
she's
the
not.
whole thing.
Exactly,
You
because
have to be, but you're not. So how do
exactly,
you do that? Well, you take a mental breakdown, because it's just too much for you to do.
exactly.
And it makes sense because of the Saturn, like, really pushing hard on her, because literally, what was she always about? A workhorse. Like
Yes,
that song, like she
workaholic for
played,
sure.
work bitch, right? It's like, I know she doesn't write her own lyrics, but I'm sure that probably sort of fed into her whole
I
idea
think it's
of
like
work.
she attracts it somehow. I don't think it's
Yeah,
coincidental, like why some people think about that and other people,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So I was looking at her card spread for this year, at her cards of
cool.
truth, and
Yeah,
I see like between March and May, she was running a 5 of spades on the Mars card with the third and the eighth cusp. So the eighth cusp is like sudden breaks. And the third cusp also has to do with the mind a lot. When the third lord is afflicted, there are some combinations like that that can afflict like the mental state. So the 5 of spades there, that's the card of rehab, like really like working on yourself, like working on your health actively, doing some effort, doing some detox, rehab, whatever you need to do to take care of your mental and physical health. So it pans out like, and especially it was emphasized until the 8th of May. And now, until the 29th of June, she's in a 4 of clubs. So maybe she's having some satisfaction with her projects, whatever, if she's doing any new projects, or even with her home, because the 4 of clubs is just an inspiring home. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, I see a 9 of diamonds coming up. So that's like a time for great expense. It's a time for surrender, and she's got a lot of cards there. And then later this year, I also see the 10 of clubs, which is her Venus card natally. And that's like rewards, of her work. She's going to have it with Pluto, Saturn, South Node. She's like really investing. She's trying to make something creative and just be appreciated and get the reward for it. But then when she gets it, she'll think like, was this worth it? Was this?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it looks like it's a tough year, especially because her ecliptic card is a 7 of spades. So kind of like a breakdown. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're like, other people are younger than me. They're better dancers. They
Yeah.
get like, their songs are in top one, top two,
Yeah.
like Cardi B, like whoever. Like
Right.
I feel like I have to let go of some expectations of myself. And of course, we know Saturn is connected to that number 7, so it ties into what you were saying about the Saturn transit as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think that her whole life has been built around her work. And what I see based on, like, intuitively, what I get from it is that this is like a person who's still a kid inside, who hasn't really grown up, who
Yes.
hasn't had an ability to really be who they want to be, to do what they want to do, and has always been pushed into the limelight and pushed. And I think that she gets there and she likes it and it feels good because she has that like real strong Saturn in her chart,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's in
Yeah.
her, it's in her ascendant. It's in her, it's very close to her ascendant. It's in her first house. It's what she knows. It's what she's good at. But having said that, there's this sensitive part of her that just wants to be loved. And I don't think she ever seems to catch that break.
Yeah, and also because like when you look at her chart and all these child stars, they really kind of get pushed into this showbiz life before, like
Yes.
making friends, connecting, going through all these stages. Because I remember watching a documentary about Elizabeth Taylor, who's also a child star, and she
Yeah.
was like, like people, she didn't know how to relate to people outside of the set, outside of work. Like she really didn't have like social skills. She
Yeah.
didn't know. She was just like, okay, this is work, and then what? Like what is life? Is this like a movie? What is it? So for her, I think it's the same. I feel like she has like a lot of decision made for her, especially after her mental breakdown. So people pushing,
Yeah.
situations into her. So I
Yeah.
think that's, it's tough. It's tough. So I don't know what she wants exactly. I guess only she knows what she wants. I hope she gets some happiness from her children, because she has like 2 young boys. So
Yeah.
I hope she gets that even in the middle of the work and her, mental situation.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Yeah.
it's a tough life, and it's a lot of pressure on you, and you're always in the public eye. You can't do anything wrong. Like people were like, wait to gossip about every little thing, like we're talking about her, but at least we like her. It's
Well,
like
it was
respectful. It's not to belittle her in any way. We're just understanding her as a human.
that what I thought was pretty sad. Like last night, I was just looking at the old stuff of back in 2007 when she had her, her really bad year,
Mm-hmm.
and they just showed a couple of the highlights of a couple magazines or newspapers like that they had, and it was just saying such horrible things about her. What was it? Unfitney instead of Britney. Unfitney, like you take the kids away from her,
Oh my
and I thought,
God, yeah.
like how cruel. I mean, we're watching somebody with a mental illness literally implode in front of us, and that's what we have to write. And I think there's a lot
Yeah,
that's where
it's
I get
bullying.
frustrated,
It's a
right?
lot of bullying.
And it remains the same in 2019. I mean, it's the same thing. Everybody's going, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? And it's like sometimes I just want to live my life, and I want to have my messed up weave and not really care about it, because guess what? Regular people can walk down the street and not have the best weave because they didn't have somebody to help them put it together. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If she's sending
So
out that message, I'm all for it.
exactly. And I don't know if she is sending that message out. I don't know that, but all I'm saying is that, we get so, I've always heard this thing, oh, well, they have money. They can take it. They can take it. And I think to myself, well, as far as I know, money doesn't make it this suit of armor that makes you, impenetrable to any
Yeah.
kind of criticism or any anxiety or any pain that we suffer as humans. So guess what? She's a human, and all these people are humans. They have more money. Whoopee. They have more money, and so they have more toys, but ultimately they're humans, and she's suffering. And yeah, I think this guy is like a boy toy who makes her feel young, because like you said, she's coming to this stage in her mortality where she's saying, yeah, I'm getting older.
Yeah. And he also likes the exposure, I guess he likes the publicity that
Of
he
course,
gets
why
by
not?
being her boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like in this, like it's very difficult when you get to a certain level to like really know, like, do they like me for me, or do they like me because they can be, famous because of me? So do you date somebody who's in the same line as you, or somebody who's more anonymous? Like, I guess it's like really difficult, like things that you and I like we don't really
Exactly. We
know.
wouldn't have to think about. And I
Yeah.
mean, he's 12 years younger than her. He was born in 94 and she was born in 81,
Oh, I
13 years.
didn't know that. I didn't.
Oh yeah, he's much, much younger than her. So,
Mhm.
really, like I said, boy toy, but I mean, it to me, it feels like an illusion. It feels like an illusion. It feels like I'm making it look like I have the perfect life. And he's all into it as well. I don't think he's an inherently a bad person, and I don't think that he's intentionally hurting her or anything like that, but I do feel that the relationship is just not good. It's just a very toxic, not toxic, maybe not toxic, but I think that the energy is not good. It's not,
Yeah,
like not everybody's meant to be together. And I think
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
the
I
case.
don't know. She kind of attracts, like, from her past relationship, this a little bit abusive, a little bit too hands-on. I think
Yeah.
because she's also maybe really a little sweetheart, but deep down,
Mhm.
and she kind of, maybe a little naive. I don't know what to say, but she's like a sweet country girl that she made it, and she was a workhorse, and she made millions of dollars, and the industry wants to keep her making those millions of dollars.
Yeah, but the age is there,
Yeah, yeah.
There's only so many procedures you can get done. The age is there. At some point, your body's going to start to shift and
And
change.
your
And I think
mind,
that, and your mind of, your priorities and what matters to you. And, this whole idea of, and I think that this whole idea of having this guy who is so much younger and very, very, strikingly attractive. It's all about keeping my youth, oh, I can still get this kind of a guy, right? He's still into me. He's younger, but look at him, right?
some people even say that it's just like for publicity. They're not like really together, but I don't know about that. Because
I
some
don't
of
know.
the stars kind of like to do that, to show like a picture of normalcy or something when something goes wrong. But who
Yeah, I
knows
don't get that vibe. I don't get that vibe, but it could be.
what
I'm not sure,
happens?
but the
Who
vibe
knows
I
what's
get is,
happening there?
yeah, nobody knows, and we can just surmise on
I
what's
never
happening.
see pictures of them and with the kids. Like, I see pictures of her and the kids, and him
Yeah,
and her, but with him and her and the kids, I don't see that. Maybe there have been and I haven't seen them, but I'm just like, I don't see him like being like a super family guy, because he's a young guy. He
no,
wants to live his life, he wants to be a model. He wants to be seen. I
he
don't
doesn't
see
have he
him.
doesn't have a lot of tribal energy. If you look at his chart,
Oh,
which is
so
all about
yeah.
family. No, he doesn't. He's got a lot of ambition, a lot of power. Where they come together in their ambition. They come together in working together, like as a pair. They'd be
Mhm.
excellent for collaborating on work projects or anything
I
like
think
that.
they were
So
in
that's
videos together. I think
yes,
they did.
exactly. That's where
Yeah.
they met. They met in a video together. He was a dancer, and I
Mm-hmm.
think in that respect, I think there's a very strong relationship. If they kept it to that level, absolutely, it would be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
because they have a lot of that energy. But there's also this whole perfectionist energy, which is not being perfect enough, and that features a couple times. So it's not just once. It's like and there's a lot of ambition between them too.
Mm-hmm.
That can be competitiveness. That can be competing against each other ambitiously. So yeah, is he, keeping her in a hole and keeping her in a box? I don't know. I think someone probably is, though. I do. I feel like that she's being
I mean,
kept
her
by
money is
somebody.
being controlled, I'm sure,
Yeah.
because, and if her phone, like she's not allowed to have her phone, do you think she's
Yeah.
allowed to have money? I don't think so. Do you think she's allowed to travel?
I don't even know how that works out. Like, I don't even know how you can live your whole
You
life
have a
with
manager.
somebody being your boss. No, like someone telling you, you can't have a phone, you can't do this, you can't do that, but get outside and, shake your booty and do your job,
Yeah.
do it. I don't get it. Like, what is the motivation for her to live her life like that? Like, well, you get to keep your kids, otherwise I'll take them from you. You just wonder what goes on
Yeah.
in the back scenes of the world that she lives in. I feel sad now.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's not like we think. Maybe she's like happy in her little things. Maybe she's enjoying,
I know.
the connection, like you said. That she's happy that she can dance. Like she's a dancer, she can dance.
Yes,
She
she
likes to
likes to
dance.
dance.
She likes to do her yoga. She likes to spend the time with her kids. And maybe she really likes Las Vegas. There are some people who live in a city and never go away because they really like it so much. So,
Well, I'm pretty shocked and astounded at the things she can still do with her body. I mean, she's amazing. The way
mm.
she can dance, the way she can do,
But
the
that's
aerobics and
that's
stuff.
her tool, right? That's her
Yeah,
tool
it's
for work.
amazing though. Like, it's
Yeah.
just shocking how in shape she is. It's great. So, what do you think about her future? Do you think we could pull some cards and see what might come up for her? You
Yeah,
want to
let
do that
me
or no?
just pull a couple of cards and see what's happening like in the near future
Yeah, if
with
if
her.
anything shows up, just it'd be interesting to see. You
The
know.
Eight of Diamonds. So that's some financial success, or bringing something of value. And then I see a reverse Eight of Hearts. So like not
Uh-huh.
being really fulfilled.
Right. Yeah.
So these both are like North Node energy cards. She has her North Node return right now in Cancer, so it's a very emotional time. And this reversed, it's like it's difficult to be friends with herself in a way. It's difficult to be self-validating. She kind of still
Mm-hmm.
needs that relationship or like the people around her emotionally, telling her who she is, that she's good, that she's blah blah.
Right.
So it's like there's a delay, there's like something obstructing that. Let's put another card. The Six of Clubs.
Hmm.
Well, a Six of Clubs reverse, that's like, okay, some delays or something not really working out with her professional validation. So financially she's doing well, but emotionally and
Yeah.
creatively she's not exactly, being 100% herself. Maybe less than 100, maybe less than 50%.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's like there's still some, she has to also, because of these nodes, they don't let you go. They're like super fated events. They're gonna just tell her and just put her in these situations where she's gonna probably make some important decisions
Yeah.
coming
And
up
and I,
about her
yeah.
career.
And she's still going to have her transits of Saturn and Neptune. They're going to, they're retrograding and they're just going to keep playing with her for the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year for her. And it'd be nice to say that everything is going to, get tied up in a pretty little bow and all will be good. But this is real life and this is her life.
Yes. Well, I guess that was our first podcast, our first edition. It's like experimental what we're doing right now, but we
Yeah.
just wanted to have the freedom because on our channels, actually even on my channel, I don't really am concerned with people say, oh, like you look at celebrities for views. Well, I look at them because I like them, otherwise
Yeah.
I couldn't do a video if I was not interested in a topic. I just
Well,
can't.
you know what? I'm gonna throw something in. I'm gonna say, why do we learn what we learn? Why do we learn astrology? Why do we learn human design? Why do we learn any of it? We want to know more about ourselves. We want to know more about people. And guess what?
Yeah,
Celebrities or people are out there and everybody
exactly.
is putting them on a pedestal saying, oh, their life is so amazing. Guess what? Their life is like ours. And when we get that message, we understand that we're all the same people and we can all be good. We can all have crappy times, but we
Of
can always
course.
get better by learning more about who we are, right?
Of course, there's always, a chance. If you're willing to put in some work and some exercise at free will, there's always a chance for improvement, I would
Exactly.
say. Yeah,
So
so maybe we'll talk again soon with something else that we were looking at. So we're not just going to stick to celebrities. Maybe we're looking at some cases, some world events, whatever is happening that piques our interest.
absolutely.
Yeah, it was really
Every
fun talking to you, Denise. Always fun.
Yes, it was fun talking to you too. I wish we were having more, like, I wish we could say much better things about Britney Spears, but guess what? She's a human, and the end of the day, we're here on this earth, and it was interesting, and it's nice to take a glimpse of what might be happening. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll be excited to come back again and talk more.
Yes. Okay, guys, bye. Don't forget to subscribe. And you know what? This is a new channel. If you like it, hit that subscribe button like there's no tomorrow. Okay?
And send it to all your friends because we love people.
Yes.
See you soon.
Bring all your friends. Let them comment. Let them comment if they disagree. Let them comment if they agree. Everyone, let's just be a big happy family here. Okay?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.